The afternoon stretched lazily ahead of them. Sarah held the ice cream cone slightly tighter, afraid that if she relaxed her grip, it might slip from her fingers and shatter on the sidewalk. She understood now why people craved ice cream in the summer. It wasn't just the taste. It was the feeling, the way it seemed to catch the fleeting essence of a perfect moment and hold it just beyond the reach of time. Back in the cool sanctuary of her bedroom, Sarah examined the watercolor set she had received from Mr. Williams. Unfolding each page of the box with reverence, she ran her fingers over the smooth, still wet paint colors. The box itself was slightly worn, the corners creased with use, which only added to its charm. It was a tangible link to another person's creativity, a vessel filled with hues that had once danced across someone else's canvas. As she organized the paints, Sarah's thoughts drifted back to the encounter with Mr. Williams. His daughter? She thought, picturing a young girl with kind eyes and paint-stained fingers. Somewhere, in some college apartment filled with dreams and art supplies, a girl was painting the world in vibrant colors. And here, in this small town, her watercolors lay waiting for new inspiration. Sarah began mixing colors, guided by intuition rather than any particular vision. With every dab of the brush, she felt a sense of liberation. This wasn't just a watercolor set. It was a key to a world of imagination, a passport to realms where colors sang and emotions took shape on paper. She painted furiously for a while, driven by the unbridled joy of creation. But gradually, as the light outside began to fade, her strokes slowed, and as the colors swirled on the paper, a strange melancholy touched her heart. She realized that Mr. Williams's gift, while incredibly kind, had also brought a tinge of sadness. In that quiet room, with the paints reflecting the dying light of day, Sarah grappled with an emotion she hadn't anticipated. It was a profound realization that illuminated the complexities of human kindness. Mr. Williams, in his thoughtful gesture, had not only given her art supplies. He had given her a piece of his daughter, a tangible link to another's creativity. But in accepting the gift, Sarah had inadvertently become a custodian of sorts, tasked with honoring the legacy of those watercolors, ensuring they didn't gather dust, but continued to serve as a conduit to imagination. It was a beautiful sentiment, yet one that came tinged with a subtle burden. The watercolors weren't just hers now. They carried within them the echoes of another's artistic journey. It was a humbling thought that stirred within her a quiet determination to use these paints to create something meaningful. As the last rays of sunlight slipped through her window, Sarah stood up, stretching her arms above her head. She looked at the half-finished painting on the table. It lacked depth, it lacked soul, and she knew why. The colors on her palette, though vibrant, were dull compared to those in Mr. Williams's gift box. As a single tear escaped and traced a path down her cheek, Sarah made a decision. She would return the watercolors. It was a choice, born not from ingratitude, but from a deep respect for the art supplies and the story they embodied. She chose a sunny morning to return the watercolors. The sky was a brilliant blue, dotted with clouds that seemed to drift aimlessly, much like her thoughts. Standing at Mr. Williams's doorstep, she hesitated. What would he say? Would he understand her reasons? Sarah knocked on the door, and when it opened, revealing Mr. Williams, she stepped forward with the box. "I brought these back," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Mr. Williams, dressed in a clean white shirt, looked at her with a mixture of surprise and concern. "What's wrong, Sarah? Are you ill?" "No, I'm fine," she said quickly. "It's just that your gift was so kind, so incredibly generous. And I realize that it is not fair to me or to your daughter for me to keep them." She handed him the box, her fingers brushing against his. "You gave me a part of your daughter's life, and I didn't realize the weight of that until I had held it in my hands and seen how it had been used, how it had inspired her. But it's hers. It belongs with her. And if you don't mind, I would love to hear stories about her, about the paintings she created with these." A slow smile spread across Mr. Williams's face. "Come in, Sarah. Let's go sit in the garden. The sunflowers are in bloom, and I think you'll agree they deserve to be painted." Sarah stepped into the house, leaving the box behind. She knew then that this visit wouldn't just be about returning a gift. It was about gaining a friend, a confidant, and perhaps even a mentor. The following Saturday, Sarah found herself sitting on a weathered wooden bench in Mr. Williams's backyard. Around her, The air buzzed with activity. Bees hummed among the sunflowers, butterflies danced among the zinnias, and the scent of roses mingled with the earthy aroma of petrichor. But Sarah wasn't there for the flowers, as lovely as they were. She was there for the stories that unfolded from the tip of Mr. Williams's paintbrush as he dipped it into the very watercolors that had sparked her own passion. He spoke of his daughter, not with a hint of sadness or longing, but with a pride that shone through his eyes like the sun breaking through clouds. He described her paintings, not with technical jargon, but with the enthusiasm of a father witnessing his child's triumphs. And Sarah listened, hanging on to every word, feeling as though she was experiencing her own personal renaissance. "She has a gift," Mr. Williams said at one point, his voice hushed as if sharing a secret. "A gift for seeing the world in colors, for capturing the essence of things before they vanish." He gestured with his paintbrush toward a patch of sunflowers, their golden faces tilted toward the sun. "Those sunflowers, they'll wither soon enough, but in her painting, they live forever. That's the magic of art, Sarah. It lets us hold on to moments, lets us relive them whenever we choose." Sarah absorbed his words, realizing they held a deeper meaning. It wasn't just about holding on to moments or reliving them. It was about understanding them, truly understanding them. Art allowed us to peel back the layers of the world, to see the emotions, the stories that resided within everyday objects and landscapes. As the afternoon wore on, Sarah found herself opening up, sharing her own dreams and aspirations with Mr. Williams. He listened, offering words of encouragement and advice, his wisdom seasoned with years of experience and a genuine love for his craft. It was as if the very walls of his garden, adorned with climbing roses and honeysuckle, had witnessed countless such conversations, each one nurturing a young mind seeking guidance. By the time Sarah returned home, the sky had taken on the hues of a watercolor painting, soft pinks and oranges, blending seamlessly with the deep blues of twilight. She carried with her the colors of the day, not just in her eyes, but in her heart. The return of the watercolors had been a difficult decision, yet it had opened doors she hadn't imagined possible. She had gained a friend, a mentor, and a deeper understanding of the world and her place within it. As she unpacked her own art supplies, Sarah found herself smiling. The ordinary paints suddenly seemed charged with potential. She picked up a brush, dipped it into a pool of cobalt blue, and began painting. It wasn't the same, she knew, but it was hers. And in that moment, under the soft glow of her lamp, Sarah knew she was exactly where she needed to be, painting her own path in the colors of her newfound wisdom.